Once upon a time, there was a king and queen who ruled a peaceful kingdom. They were very happy, but there was one thing missing in their lives: they had no children. Many years passed, and finally, their prayers were answered. The queen gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. The king and queen were overjoyed and named her Sunray because she brought light and happiness to their lives. Sunray grew up to be a lovely and cheerful child. But when she was just 5 years old, a terrible accident happened, and the queen passed away. The king was heartbroken, but he promised to take care of his daughter with all his love. He became very protective of Sunray and gave her everything she wanted. He didn't let anything bad happen to her, not even a little bit of harm. Because of this, Sunray grew up to be very stubborn. She always got what she wanted, and if she didn't, she would throw a tantrum. One day, Sunray went to the garden with her friends. As they walked, she saw some children playing with bubbles. The bubbles floated through the air, shining with many colors. Sunray loved the bubbles and couldn't stop watching them. She thought they were the most beautiful thing she had ever seen. When she returned to the palace, she ran to her father.
I want a crown made of bubbles. Please make it for me.
The king was surprised.
A crown made of bubbles? But my dear, bubbles pop too easily. How can anyone make a crown out of bubbles?
Sunray pouted and crossed her arms.
Don't care. I want a bubble crown, and I won't eat anything until I get one.
The king was worried. He loved his daughter so much, he couldn't bear to see her upset. So he made an announcement across the kingdom.
Whoever can make a bubble crown for the princess will be rewarded with gold and treasures.
Many people came to the palace to try and make a bubble crown. But no matter how hard they tried, the bubbles always popped. No one could succeed. Days went by, and Sunray still refused to eat. She only wanted her bubble crown. The king became more and more worried, fearing for his daughter's health. One day, a poor old woman came to the palace. She had heard about the princess' wish and said she could help. The king, with no other choice, let her in. The old woman looked at Sunray and smiled kindly.
Princess, I can make you a beautiful bubble crown, but it won't be made of ordinary bubbles. These will be magic bubbles that never pop.
Sunray's eyes lit up with excitement.
Really? Can you make it?
The old woman nodded. She closed her eyes, whispered a few magic words, and suddenly, the room filled with sparkling bubbles. The bubbles floated around Sunray, and then like magic, they formed a glowing crown above her head. The bubbles shone brightly, and to everyone's surprise, they didn't pop. Sunray was thrilled. She ran to her father, showing him the magical bubble crown. The king was amazed and thanked the old woman. Before leaving, the old woman gave Sunray a wise piece of advice.
Dear princess, happiness doesn't come from getting everything you want. Sometimes, the most important thing is understanding that not everything is possible. Be kind and patient, and you will always be happy.
Sunray thought about the woman's words and realized she had been too stubborn. From that day on, she became kinder and more thoughtful, and she learned to appreciate the simple joys in life. And so, Sunray grew up to be a wise and beloved princess, and the kingdom lived happily ever after.